Alright guys, welcome back to another video. It's been a while since I made a last one. A lot of things have happened since the last one. My Browns made the playoffs. I gained some weight. Um, I got a dog, new gaming PC. Look at that. That's nice, pretty. Um, but today I'm doing something I've been wanting to do for a while. It's a quarterback tier list based on my own opinion. Shout out to Tier Maker for making this available for everyone so anyone can do it. I think it's important to explain how I do my tier list first. I want to go off how they played last year, but on top of like where they're trending. Like if they had a good year, but I think they're going like downhill, I'm going to factor that in. Or if they had a okay year, but I think they're improving, that might affect their rating a little bit. So we're going to start off with the easy ones. Patty Mahomes, elite. I mean, nothing to talk about there. Tom Brady, elite. I mean, greatest of all time. Don't even fucking at me. It's not a discussion. And then let's see who else is up there. A-Rod, easy, elite. Um, Second to only Tom Brady, but he's pretty good, damn good. Let's see where we want to go from here. Let's see where we're at. Let's get the other one, easy ones out the way. I don't know why the hell Brian Hoyer's in here. Just get him out of here. He's absolute cheeks. Just put him there. He's bad. Who else do we have here? Okay, I think the rest give us a little bit of a discussion, so we'll just go right down the line. We'll go to Matt Ryan. Played not very good last year, but obviously he was great before. So I think he's trending down a little bit, but I think he still has a lot of gas and things. I'm going to put him in the good section. I think a couple years ago he was great, arguably elite at one point, but I'm putting him in good for now. Lamar Jackson. I still not think he's a great passer, but he's an absolute electric runner. There's no doubt about that. And he's a good enough passer. I think if I had to rank his passing alone, it'd be like here, maybe here. But like running, he's through the roof. There's nowhere else. So I think he's great. I'm gonna put him there. Then let's go around here. Drew Brees. He's obviously retired. Not sure why he's on this list either. It's obviously a little bit out of date. So I gotta put him average. Like he wasn't bad last year, but he's also obviously a liability in the playoffs. He did not play great. Had, I believe, 3 turnovers. I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was a lot. Yeah, but he'd go down as a first ballot Hall of Famer, so gotta give him respect. He was average last year, though. His entire career, he was great / elite, though. I just noticed Mason Rudolph's in here. Absolute cheeks, getting the fuck out of here. He's a little crybaby bitch too, so not really gonna touch more on that. Then we'll go ahead and get Trubisky. Now Trubisky, I've been in some arguments here lately. I don't think he was as bad as he played, or as people think he was in Chicago. He definitely wasn't good. I would put him as a bottom of the league starter. I think he could still start in the league. He obviously went to Buffalo. He's going to back up Josh Allen. I think that's a good spot for him. But I don't think he could ever hit the good. I think at best he'd be average. Josh Allen. Fun fact, I hated Josh Allen out of college. All my Bills friends used to give me shit for it, especially when Baker Mayfield had his bad second year. But last year, they got him a weapon and he lit the league up. He just has it. He's a little bit like Lamar, where I still don't think he's an amazing passer, but he does everything so good. I think he passes better than Lamar, but runs worse. So therefore, they kind of even out in my mind, where they're both great. I would love to have either of these guys on my team. Alright, Teddy B. Teddy B, I'm actually pretty low on him. A lot of people think he played good last year, but he really didn't. Like, he didn't do that well. He had great weapons. Carolina is stacked down there. I mean, I guess McCaffrey was hurt quite a bit. But, I mean, he had, Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel, and was it DJ Moore? They're just electric wide receivers. He didn't do a whole lot with them. So I think he's a bottom of the league starter. I think he'll be like a Tyrod Taylor type, float around the league for quite some time. And I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't draft a quarterback. I'm hoping they make a move. In my mock draft, I had them moving up to 4. Obviously, it's not realistic because that's with Atlanta. And if Atlanta allowed them to get Trey Lance, is who I think will be there, it would be pretty stupid. But we will see. Big Ben. Big Ben was an absolute liability to the Steelers last year. If I was a Steelers fan, I would be upset. He's coming back. That being said, he has been great throughout his entire career. He just can't seem to move He's injury prone now. You gotta have great pass protection around him, or he's gonna get slaughtered. Um, but I'd still put him as average. I don't think he's gonna be terrible next year. I just don't think he's gonna be real good. I really think they should invest in a quarterback. I've heard them looking at Jamie Newman. I like Jamie Newman a lot. I'd be upset if they got him, or if they ever went Darnold route. That would be something that upsets me. Marcus Mariota. I don't know what's wrong with Mariota. Like, I've watched him play, and he doesn't look that bad, but he just never does anything special. I think it's more mental. Honestly, I don't even really know. I'm kind of guessing at this point. Um, he just has that Tyrod Taylor effect, where he has all the tools, but he just doesn't use them. So I think he's a bottom of the league starter. He's going to be stuck with the Raiders for whatever reason. Um, I believe they probably could have traded him, but maybe they're not sold on Derek Carr, so they wanted to keep him around. I just believe they reworked his contract. So he's a bottom of the league starter for now. I think he could trend up, though, eventually. I don't think he's ever going to get worse. He's never going to be down here, I don't think. And I don't think we're going to use the unknown section at all. We might, actually. Derek Carr. I love Derek Carr out of college. Hands on my top quarterback in that class. I believe it was Teddy B, Johnny Manziel, and I forget who else was in that class. But he was my favorite. Ended up going in the second round. He's put together a good career. I forget the stat I saw with him. He's like the only quarterback that had something like over 4,000 yards and something in like a certain amount of consecutive seasons. I should remember that. I sound like an idiot, but I think he's good. He's a good starter in the NFL. But I do think he needs to get over the hump, or they're going to move on from him in Oakland. This is Nick Foles, I believe. Hopefully I'm getting his face right. Nick Foles, bottom league starter. I mean, he did terrible in Chicago. We respect what he did with the Eagles, got him to a Super Bowl, got him a win. But other than that, there's just nothing special. I don't think he should ever be the starter in the league again. You know what? I think I'm actually going to change this. Well, I'm going to get rid of this unknown section. We're going to make this the absolute cheeks section. Okay, well, I'm glad I decided to cut me right there. So this is now the absolute cheeks. I think this needs to be the solid backup role. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I should have kept the same. But regardless, I did that mainly because I think Andy Dalton's a solid backup. I don't think he's absolute cheeks, but I don't think he's a bottom of the league starter either. So he's just like a good backup. If he comes in, he can win you some games. So that's why I want to add that section. Whereas I mean, Brian Hoyer and Mason Rudolph, they might eventually be those kind of Chase Daniel type guys that help mentor your quarterbacks. But I mean, they're absolute cheeks. If they come into the game, I pretty much assume my team's going to lose. Alright, Drew Lock. Drew Lock, dude, I had such high hopes for him last year. They had so many weapons, and granted they were hurt a little bit, but I don't know, man. He just didn't get it done. Like, I hope they get it done this year. I think they're gonna give him one more year, and hopefully Cortland Sutton coming back will make a difference. So for now, I think he's a bottom league starter, but I mean, he's trending to absolute cheeks. He's gonna be there if he doesn't improve his game next year. So I'll give him a bottom league starter. I don't know, man. He just needs to get it done. All right, Joey B. Joey B. Love Joey B. Hate that he went to the Bengals. I think he's solid. Had a pretty good rookie year. Didn't have an amazing one like so many Bengals fans like to pretend, but he did have a really good one. Had no protection. Weapons weren't great. Joe Mixon was hurt all year. Didn't really have any good running backs behind there, so he didn't have a lot of help. But he was good. So for now, I'm gonna put him in average, but I think he's trending up. He should be. I think he'll be in these two sections by next year. But for now, I'll put him in average. If I had to win a game next year, I'd take him for both these two, and I think that says a lot about him. Next is my man Baker Mayfield. I made a video beginning, probably around week 5 last year, where I said I wasn't sold on him as my quarterback. I needed to see him do something towards the end of the year, maybe get us to the playoffs, maybe win a playoff game, and that's exactly what he did. Come the middle of the season, we really got away from our play-action offense, and Kevin Stefanski really allowed him to open up and be a real more balanced balanced offense. We ran the ball a lot still, but he also threw a lot from the shotgun. I think he's in the good section. He's getting very comfortable as a playoff quarterback. He has not. I think he's trending up, but I couldn't put him in either two of these sections. At least not until I see 8 solid games next year, and then maybe we can talk about it. But where he has reversed to his sophomore form and he goes down, I think he's good right here. Dak Prescott. Numbers crazy inflated last year. He had a great season on paper before he absolutely destroyed his ankle, but I mean a lot of that stuff was inflated due to his team just sucked. They were down so much. Like for example, I'm gonna quote this game because I saw it firsthand. They were getting their ass whooped by the Browns. They were down like 28 or so points, and he ended up passing for like 500 yards because they were down for so much. Like we went into a complete prevent defense, and he just stacked all of his stats, and that's the story with a lot of the games. So I think he's good. Not as good as people think he is. I don't think he's great or elite. He could be. I think there's potential, but right now I don't think he is. Jameis Winston. I'm probably one of the few people that still believe in him at this point. I mean, his last start of the season, he threw 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. I mean, the Buccaneers put up a lot of points with him at quarterback, but the problem is he threw a lot of interceptions too. But I think maybe that LASIK. Hopefully you're getting smart with Sean Payton, improves something. He should be the starter over Taysom Hill in New Orleans, and I think he'll be, average right now is where I'd put him. Most people agree, maybe say bottom of the league starter. I can see where they're coming from, but personally, I view Jameson a little bit higher than other people, and I think he can be pretty good. I think he can take New Orleans to the playoffs with the help from Taysom Hill and some wildcat formations. Next, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson had an amazing first season last year, and at one point, I was an argument that he might have been the best quarterback in the NFL. But really, mid-season, he really fell off. The defense wasn't good either, and he just didn't cut it out. He obviously didn't put up enough points in the playoffs. I don't know. I really noticed he got a little bit worse, but so did the entire team. So it's not necessarily his fault. So right now, I'm putting him in the great section. I'd probably take him above these two, but below all 3 of these, and perhaps some other guys. We have some up here, but I mean. He's an elite quarterback nonetheless, at least top 7, I would say. Jimmy G, I think he's a bottom of the league starter. He just hasn't done much since he got the starter role. He's hurt all the time. He disappears on his team. He did get him to the Super Bowl, but did he get them to a Super Bowl? I mean, or did that defense and scheme get him to a Super Bowl? It's kind of the same thing like I believe Jared Goff did with the Rams. Great defense, good run game, and just solid scheme that made it easier on the starter. There's a reason they traded up to number 3 overall. Matt Stafford. I think he's good. He's had a really shitty time over there in Detroit. He had some weapons, but really no run game. Offensive line was never that good from what I remember. Defense never backed him up, but the man is clutch. I believe he has the most fourth quarter comebacks in the league. So I think he does great things with the Rams. Should make it a lot easier on him. I think he's going to put up big numbers. I think he will eventually be in the great next year if he can stay healthy. Philip Rivers, not even really going to waste time on him. I'm just going to put him right here. He wasn't good last year. There's really just not much to say. I mean, obviously, he was the one key thing holding the Colts back. They had a great run game, great defense. Really lacked some weapons on the outside, but Philip Rivers just wasn't very good. He's getting old. So I'd say he's a bottom league starter, even though I believe he's retiring. I'm not entirely sure on that, but yeah. All right, Tua. I've never been a big Tua fan. I think he's a little too conservative. I think he has the weapons, but I don't think he's ever going to use them. My league comparison to him has always been kind of been Tyrod Taylor, just because I think that's kind of how he'll end up playing. Big arm, he's athletic, but like he never really puts it together. So I think he's a solid backup. I really wanted to see Miami go after Watson. They didn't. Oh well. But yeah, I'm gonna get a lot of flack on that. I'm still a big Tua fan. I think they'd move on. I think he will hold them back this year on an otherwise good Dolphins team, but we'll see. Especially if they get him weapons and get him Pitts or Chase in the draft. I think that'll be good for him. Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew's actually played really well. I believe he didn't play a lot last season because Jags were going full tank job. I think he would be a starter somewhere. I'm actually going to put him average. I think he's actually pretty good. I mean, every time I watch him play, he does really well. His stats, I saw something, someone was arguing on YouTube the other day that he was like the next Tom Brady type. And then here's the puppy. Obviously that's far-fetched, but I think they were coming from the fact that he was unknown, didn't really give a shot, and played really well. I think he just needs some weapons around him. I think he could be a starter. Average bottom league starter, I think. You drinking that water, girl? Carson Wentz. 2 years ago, this dude was an MVP discussion, and last year he was arguably the worst quarterback in the NFL. So I don't know really what happened to him. The Eagles were not a good team. Offensive line was hurt, had no weapons. Ertz was playing bad. Miles Sanders was hurt all the time. So he really wasn't helping, and he's also like he's that type of quarterback when there's not a play to be made, he tries to make a play, and that really comes back to hurt him. He really needs to learn how to slide, throw the ball out of bounds, and live for the next down. But I think he's a B. I think right now he's average. I think he's going to trend up. I think he's going to play really well in Indy. They need to give him another wide receiver between both sides. Pittman, but that offensive line, running game is really good, and I think he'll thrive in that. Dwayne Haskins, absolute cheeks. The dude's immature. I thought Redskins gave up on him a little bit too soon, but he just keeps shooting himself in the leg with, all these off-season immaturities, or not off the field immaturities, not off-season immaturities. So I just. Alright, sorry about that. But I think he's absolute cheeks. I don't think he'll ever be started in the NFL. I believe he's on the Steelers now. He just doesn't do much for me. Sam Darnold. I have probably been the loudest voice that I know that says that the Jets should not take Zach Wilson, number 2 overall. And it's not because of knocking into Zach Wilson. I just don't think their team's very good. And it'll just be another situation like Darnold where they draft a quarterback high, surround him with no weapons, and then he just fails and they draft another quarterback in 3 years. I do believe if you surrounded Darnold with weapons, he would be a good player. But based on the way his career's trending, I'm going to say he's a bottom league starter, but I really do think he could be in these 2 sections if he goes to the right team. My biggest fear is him going to Pittsburgh, because I think he could ball out in a good offense. And if Pittsburgh is willing to trade for him, or any team like that, maybe even the Bears, I think his career can be saved. Ryan Fitz. Ryan Fitz, he's so hard to judge. I'm going to put him as average. Like, sometimes he's the greatest quarterback you've ever seen, and sometimes he's absolutely, like, you're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? How is he still playing? But you got to love the swag. You got to love him. He's a great teammate. He's a great mentor. I'll put him as average. I think he'll do some nice things in that Washington's offense. Much like he did in Miami, maybe even better with better weapons. But I don't think he's ever going to get over that hump. He just says fuck it too much and just throws shit. And that really comes back to haunt him sometimes, and sometimes he throws for 4 touchdowns. So, I mean, it is what it is. I gotta wet my whistle. And I do want to go back on Jameis Winston. I'd probably if it gave me this option to put him right in the middle of these 2, that's probably what I'd do. Because this is a little odd putting them in the same section with like Joey B and these 2, admittedly. But I just don't think he's as bad as these guys. Next. Is this Kirk Cousins? It looks like, it should be Kirk Cousins. It almost looks like Case Keenum. Maybe I'm dumb. But like the face, I can't even remember what fucking number Kirk Cousins wears. Yeah, let me see this. Okay, he's number 8. Never mind, I'm an idiot. Alright, I guess this is the face that just looks like Case Keenum, but here's Kirk Cousins. Always been a big Kirk Cousins fan. The dude produces in every system he's ever been in. Balled out in Washington, still balling out in the Vikings. I think he gets more hate than he should because his contract sucks ass. And it's kind of holding the Vikings back. But I think at one point they need to sit him down like, look, Kirk, we want you to get it paid. We want you to be the starter quarterback, but we got to get you some help. So you either need to take a pay cut or we're going to move on. And I think maybe they have done that already. But if they haven't, they should. Or not, he's going to be going somewhere else because he needs to take some less money. Jared Goff. I'm not a big Jared Goff fan. I won't go as far to say he's absolute cheeks, but he's a bottom of the league starter. I think we saw the best Jared Goff will ever have to offer, and that was probably in the Super Bowl run where he did play a good season. And for the record, I was a huge Jared Goff fan out of college. I liked him way more over Wentz, but I can admit when I'm wrong, and he just wasn't good. Um, and I don't think he'll be good in Detroit where he has absolutely nothing. I think he'll eventually move down to the solid backup role. And I'm going to change this. I didn't like how many people I had up there. Drew Lock, right now, he's absolute cheeks. We're just going to say that. Yeah, absolute cheeks. I would put him there. I think he can get better, though. Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill, I believe, is not a bad quarterback. He's a good quarterback. But he is a product of a system that makes it way easier. Every time I watch him, like, the offense goes right through Derrick Henry. It's nothing but screen passes or easy one reads to A.J. Brown or Corey Davis at the time. So I think he was helped by that. So I'll put him as good. I know, like, Pro Football Focus and, like, a bunch of other people will have him, like, elite or great. There's just no way. I actually think, like, I would take all these quarterbacks down this road before I take Tannehill. I just don't think he's that good. I think he's been a product of his system. If you asked all 6 of these quarterbacks right here to drop back and pass and make reads, I think they all do better than Ryan Tannehill. So he's in good. He's firmly in good. I don't think he's trending in either direction. He's just a good quarterback. Deshaun Watson. Hopefully he gets to play this year. Hopefully they trade him. Hopefully all this BS around him is not true. But he's a great quarterback. I actually had a dream the other day that the Browns traded for him. I felt shitty about it, but whatever. I think he's great. I think he'd be a great fit in Chicago, Miami, Carolina. There's so many places that he would just skyrocket their team. They really need to trade him. Hopefully all the scandal shit gets behind him, and he gets to play this year. Danny Dimes, bottom of the league starter. Actually, absolute cheeks. He's right there with Drew Lock. They're giving him the weapons this year. He just needs to do it now. He just really hasn't done much. I would lie if I said I've watched Danny Dimes a ton. I know he fumbles a lot. They have decent weapons down there in New York. Barkley's been hurt, though, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He's definitely get at least one more year this year. And it's going to be a make-or-break year for him. He's either needs to play well or they're going to move on and probably be a top team in the draft next year. Justin Herbert. One of the greatest rookie seasons of all time. Broke all kinds of records. Only played, I think, in 14 to 16 games. Maybe 15. Maybe it was 15. I can't remember. Either way, he had a great rookie season. Great deep ball. Really didn't have great protection, and still did all that. But he had great weapons. He's in good. Trending up. He could easily be in these two right here. I put him above Burrow. I didn't like Herbert out of the draft. I loved Burrow, but Herbert just did it better and for longer than Burrow did in his rookie year. It's not fair to Burrow. He did get hurt. But that's how I look at it for right now. Both could easily be skyrocketing up the board, though. I think they're both kind of got great futures ahead of them. Last but not least, Kyler Murray, one of my favorite quarterbacks in the NFL. At one point in the season, early in the season, he was playing amazing. I said he was elite. I still think at that point he was, but he did regress as a passer. A lot of Kingsbury's throws are, check down, screen passes, short shit. I think he's like a lesser Lamar. He's a great runner, but not as great as Lamar. He's a slightly better passer than Lamar, in my opinion. But that balances out, and I think he's just good. I think I would take all these quarterbacks besides Tannehill before I take Kyler Murray. He's an electric player to watch. And his career's trending up. But I think he'll firmly be in this section for his entire career. He's just too short to be a great passer. And that's pretty much it for my tier list. It was fun. It's something I'm going to do for a long time. I'd like to hear what you guys disagree with, agree with, who you guys think belong where. I try to make this as quick as possible. It's really hard to make it quick when you're trying to, because I believe there's 38 quarterbacks on here. I'm trying to give a quick explanation about them all and why I believe they fit here. But it was fun. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, or DM me, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.